Hi guys, Zach here with my first Age of Empires video. In this video I'm playing a ranked game on the map Lipany. I'm playing as the English and my opponent is playing as the French. I'm currently a low ranked player, so I'm silver 3 when I played this game. And the reason I'm showing this game is it was sort of the match that I was aiming for to get to gold 1. I was about 10 points off, so basically if I win this match I will be gold 1. I'm against the French and the person I'm playing is a gold 1 player. Now I thought I'd just do this channel for a little bit of fun, and I've played Age of Empires before, this one, but I've only played it for short periods of time. I used to play as Mongols Delhi and I wasn't a very high standard. I think the highest rank I ever reached was gold 3. But what I'm going to be trying to do is just play quite a bit and see if I can improve on what I've been doing. I think it'll be interesting to see how an average player can progress through the game. So I don't know whether I'll be able to, how far I'll be able to get. I think I'll probably be able to get to platinum, but I have no idea whether I'll ever be able to get to diamond or anything like that. But I think it'll be just interesting to have a go at it, try new techniques, and just see where I can get to, really. Of course, there's quite a lot I don't know about some of the civs, especially any of the new civs that weren't out at launch. I did play actually at launch, and I did play on the beach as well. So I do have a little bit of experience and know the general gist of things. It's just I'm very newish to this game, and at the moment I'm just collecting those sheep, which I don't think I've done too badly at the moment. With English you can go for earlier farms, because they're quite cheap compared to other civilizations. Now I'm playing the French and they have some perks, so they're going to have a villager building speed buff, which so they produce villagers faster. They've also got access to knights early on in feudal age, which is going to make it quite hard as the English, because the English speciality is longbows. And yeah, I can just see my opponent's scout there, and I think he's done a bit better on the sheep actually than I have. He did seem to have quite a lot, and now I've got my age up coming through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the council hall. And what I usually do is I build archers quite early, but I need to be careful in this match because he's got knights. The French have a similar landmark to council hall, only that it lets them build knights instead. And if I put my longbows against knights, then I will get absolutely obliterated if I've got nothing else there. So I do need to be careful in this matchup. I don't know if you could say that French was probably better against English than other civs. I know the win ratio of French against English is favourable for French. I did have a little bit of a look at the stats for this. And now I'm just going up to the top right, just getting some of that map uncovered. I also need to do a bit of scouting for my opponent just to see exactly what he's doing. But I do think he will go for the School of Cavalry landmark. It does seem the most popular. And what I'm going to need to be doing is collecting plenty of wood as well, so I can build archers. But I'm also going to need to build some other things as well to counteract his knights. And just sending the villager there just to make another house, so I have enough population. I seem to be picking up a few more sheep, which is good, so that'll help me once I get back, because I don't want to have to transition to farms too quickly. Although as the English, of course, it's not as bad as other civilizations. If you're playing as the French, it's sort of best to expand out to other food sources, I think anyway, such as berries and deer. But as the English, you have a bit more flexibility in the food department because farms are so cheap, and so it's a lot easier to transition. It takes a lot less wood. And you can see my opponent has reached a feudal age, about a similar time to me, and you can see indeed it is the School of Cavalry, so I can expect some knights to be coming out there. I'm just going to send my scout back now just to drop off the sheep. I don't want it to get killed out there, and then my opponent would be able to collect all those sheep that I've just got recently. So what I'm not going to do straight away is I'm not going to be producing archers, because if I just produce archers straight away and send 4 archers over, they could just be killed very, very quickly. What I'm building now is a granary, and that's because I can get something called wheelbarrow, which is a very useful tech for economy. Anyone who plays this game will know from the build I'm doing that I am going just for a single town centre. So the techs are going to be quite important, especially if I want my economy to keep up with the French, because the French will have more villas than me and will produce a little bit faster, so I will be needing to research those techs, although my opponent could be doing the same. So the early fights are going to be very, very important. And now what I'm doing is I'm laying down a barracks, because the barracks can allow me to produce pikemen, and I'm going to need those pikes if the opponent does produce those knights, which, as I say, would be very devastating to my archers. Now, I'm quite wondering sort of like what my opponent will do, because quite often what the French can do is they can go for a combination of knights and archers, which is probably going to be stronger than, well, which will be stronger than pikemen and archers, because knights just have that extra mobility. So they can like sort of like whip round and attack archers or longbows in the case that I'm playing English. So yeah, first of all, my first units are going to be pikemen, and then I'm going to start producing some archers as well with them. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the base and see what I can do. As I've said, this is quite a low level match. The person I'm playing is gold, I'm silver 3, so I'm just trying to win this match to get to the next level. And just building another house there. Yeah, just need to like keep on constantly building and keep on top of that. And you can see there's my first longbow and first pikeman out. And yeah, my population is reached, but what will happen is things build up until they need to go out. I'm just going to build another house there just to make sure I don't reach that population limit, because now that I'm producing military units, I'm filling up the population a lot faster. And now that I've got quite a few on wood and quite a few on food, I'm going to start sending more villas to gold. And gold's going to be very important, because I'm producing pikemen and longbows. Neither need golden resources, but what I want to do is I want to be building a blacksmith soon. And the blacksmith technology needs gold in order to research. And I do want to make these units a bit stronger. And now we're going to send up our pikemen and longbows. I should have done like more scouting. As I say, I'm quite a new player, so I'm not going to be using as many hotkeys as I will be in the future, hopefully. And we can see our opponent's going for a wall. And that tells me a little bit about our opponent. He's got a gate there, so he might be planning to send knights through there. But it also tells me that he's using resources just to strengthen his defences, and that maybe he's going for a bit of a more economic build, maybe trying to town centres. And now I'm on the opponent's sort of like his gold mine. He's started trying to build something there. I've managed to take out a villa, I think. And now we're attacking his villas. And now he's realised, and he's sending his villas back to his town centre. And I'm just going to pull my army back a little bit. And now we see that Royal Knight coming in. But I've got my pikemen ready. And that Royal Knight, well, 2 Royal Knights, and one of them losing HP quite quickly. I think he just manages to get it away into the safety of his base. But a good thing is we've all managed to stop him like building that structure. You can see that Royal Knight there in the middle. What he's trying to do is he's trying to cut off my reinforcements, which I'm going to need quite shortly. But I've got some things at his base. I'm not in a too bad position at home. I've got things quite close to my TC. The only thing I am a bit worried about is that gold, because it is quite exposed, and he gets some knights in there, he could knock me off that. And now we can see our opponent trying to build walls there. So I'm going to send my archers in and try and get some vill kills. I think I've got a couple of, maybe 1 or 2 vills down there. But I'm just making sure my opponents don't go in too far. And now you can see he's got about 4 Royal Knights, and those Knights are going for my archers. So my archers are in a little bit of trouble here, but I do have some pikemen helping out, and they do lots of damage against those Royal Knights, which is going to make things tricky. And we can see those Royal Knights going down. Now, Knights do cost quite a bit, so when he loses a Knight, it's going to be quite heavy on his resources, because they do cost quite a bit of gold. So although it's a very powerful unit, it is going to cost my opponent if he loses too many of those. On the other hand, the units I'm producing are quite cheap, and yeah, he's talking about how small the map is. And now we're going in. You can see my army's being whittled down a little bit. But we managed to push him off gold once again. And that's going to really hurt his economy because he'll be wanting to use that gold in order to produce knights. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send some units around the back way just to see if there's any like villages out there, because we don't know where his villages are distributed. He might have gone to other gold mines. He could have gone to other wood lines and things like that. So we're just trying to find them. He might have villages collecting food from other resources. We can see a little scout there, so I'm going to try and take out that scout. I think he's looking for units going around that way. And what I'm trying to do at the moment is just produce as many units as I can, because I have made some games in this early game. And now you can see that scout running away. He's seen my archers, of course, but he's going to know I'm coming from the other side. But I'm also at the left side of his base as well. So it's going to be really hard for him to move villagers around. And you can see that gold mine there with no villagers on it. But what we're going to do is just try and like push in and just get as much visibility as possible. We can see a lot of villagers near his town hall. I don't want to go in too close to that with my units, because we can see he's on that gold mine there. So we're going to... And yeah, that's a lot of villagers, so maybe he's looking for an age up, or maybe he's just trying to produce as many royal knights as possible. We'll manage to push those villagers off, and that's going to really hurt him. And making his villagers move around, not only is it knocking him off gold, it's also making a lot of idle time, whereas my economy is pretty much untouched, so I should be collecting more resources than he is. I'm just having a bit of a look at my wood line there and just having a bit of a think. But you can see those knights coming in now, and I managed to take off those archers because there was only 4 archers there. They didn't have pikes defending them, the ones that came around the other side. And you can see he's done a little bit of mistake there. He's got vills going for that gold mine. So I think he just had them like going there from his town centre as soon as he produced them. But now we've managed to knock him off there. He's in a little bit of trouble, and you can see us with our units at the other side of his base at his other gold mine, and that's going to make it really hard for him to produce any cavalry units because he does need gold for it. And we can see he's also built a stable in addition to his school of cavalry. And now you can see that scout coming in, and it does go down, so managed to get an extra sheep there, and not that it's going to matter too much. And now I'm just sending those troops just around to the top left of the map, because I think he might have some units there, possibly. You don't know where he is at the moment, but he must be somewhere gathering resources, but he's going to be having a bit of a hard time right at the moment. And I've stacked up a bit too much wood and too much resources, so I'm just going to produce quite a few houses there so I don't get population capped once again. But really what I should be doing is I should be managing my economy so that I can be using all the resources I collect in order to produce troops. And you can see another group of knights down there, and we can see him trying to mine from the gold mine in the top left position. So once again, we're going to knock him off that, and he has surrendered. I think the big mistake our opponent made in this game was that he just was producing royal knights, and I'd be counting in terms of spearmen. Okay, the royal knights are great against archers, but when you've got spearmen helping as well, they're not so good. What he should have done is, I think, instead of producing that stable, he should have produced an archery range. And then he would have been able to produce archers, which would have been able to snipe my spearmen. And then he could have used his knights with their mobility to go around the back and attack my longbows. And you can see it was quite a one-sided match. I had a much better score than him in economy and in military. So this is how I got to gold 1 in my current playing streak. Hopefully I will be able to improve and get to higher ranks, and then one day look back at this game and just see how many mistakes there are there. I know I'm not using as many hotkeys as I could, but I'm just introducing them slowly. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.